Parliament's legal advisers cleared the Oversight Committee on Minerals and Energy to conduct its own inquiry on allegations of corruption in the multi-billion rand Karpowership's tender. The ill-fated deal is now the subject of litigation, but the committee wants to get to the bottom of what actually happened. Meanwhile, Minerals and Energy Minister Gwede Mantashe will also be called upon to explain his department's handling of bids, especially for the Risk Mitigation energy procurement program. Let's get to the latest of what's happening now. We're joined by Committee Chairperson Sahlulele Luzipo, who joins us via our video link this morning. Great to have you on the show, Sahlulele. I think a good place to start is, we've given so much coverage to what the Karpowership's deal would have meant, particularly for South Africa's energy challenges. Where are we now in terms of the deal itself?
Well, good morning to you and the viewers at home. First, let me say, yes, it's still a process underway. Most definitely, it's quite a complex one. We can't say at what stage it is because it's not our process. The issue was that when the project started, we had to get a briefing because it was more or less like a new phenomenon. We have never seen, for an example, energy generation from the sea. And that's what we had to get, but not only on that, on the entire project itself. At this stage, as far as I'm aware, is that when it had to go for test as far as environmental compliance is concerned, they were unable to succeed in that regard. So we understand it to be at that stage, but for us, the issue is twofold: is the necessity, the purpose, and what it is that it sought to achieve. But also linked to that is the issues that relate to what is alleged to be undue influence with regards to the process itself and attempts to manipulate the system. That is also what we have to take into consideration as a committee.
So is it fair to say, I just want to go back to what the latest is on the deal itself. Is it fair to say that as it stands, South Africa, and this is the decision by the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, has refused the Karpowership's deal on the basis of environmental authorization? Essentially that Karpowerships didn't go far enough to unpack the environmental impacts in the country?
Look, obviously it's going to be a matter for the Committee on Environmental Affairs. But yes, the information that we have is that it couldn't succeed the test as far as environmental compliance is concerned. But that's what we understand. But we are a Committee of Parliament that is supposed to conduct oversight on the executive actions and the executive decision. And that is what we'll have to do at this stage.
So Parliament's Oversight Committee on Minerals and Energy, which you chair, what are some of the big sticking points that you are wanting to get to the bottom of?
Look, the first thing is that by the rules of Parliament, we are required to give the executive authority, in this case, which will be the minister, to be able to state what is his or her understanding on the overall project, and subject to that, we will then decide what is the course of action. But obviously, as a committee, we're quite clear that there are things that we cannot avoid that are in the public domain. For an example, the objection to the process, which has led to litigation in courts by one of the bidders that did not succeed, the allegations that relates to the suspicions or allegation with regards to the conduct of some of the officials of the department that had a meeting with the bidder that did not succeed on the basis of what they sought to get in the event they were to succeed in terms of their bidding process. There are also other private names, and I don't think we can say without hesitation that it then leaves us with no option but to, even if the project itself does not go through, but the mere fact that there are issues in terms of conduct, it requires then that the committee must be able to investigate those allegations.
And on the issue of bidders, it is under the purview of your committee as well to call these bidders, these alternative bidders, to come in account and give their side of the story as well.
Look, there is a complainant here in the courts. That obviously, as far as the bidding is concerned, will be the starting point. And also there are names that are being mentioned, and it says without doubt that we will have to consider those names. And that's at this stage, what will be the preliminary process. Subject to that, there could be more that the committee will have to take. But at this stage, yes, it's true. We will have to, as far as the bidding process is concerned, we will have to invite some of the people that have made the allegation so that they can be put to test. And if they are proven, obviously, then we will have to make concrete recommendations.
I mean, the allegations are pretty explosive by this other bidder, DNG Power Holdings, was a rival bidder for what came to be known as the Karpowership deal. A lot of money at stake here, 225 billion rand is what Karpowerships would have cost South Africa. And this bidder is making serious allegations that the minister himself may in some way have been involved in making Karpowerships the preferred bidder here?
Look, let's allow that process. Obviously, I cannot express a view at this stage because then I will be prejudicing the entire process. Let's allow that process. That's why we say we will invite the complainant at this stage, or the company that has objected to the process, having understood the objection, but also the individuals, the names of individuals that are being mentioned, including private individuals, even people who are not working for the department. We will be able to invite them, and then from there we will make them the necessary recommendations on what action has to be taken if there are some that are found to be on the wrong side of the process.
And when do you reckon your committee will finish its work?
Well, at this stage, I think it's still too early. I cannot say at what stage, but we are of the view that the sooner we tackle the better, the better. So on the 17th, of August, we'll be adopting the program, which will include the roadmap on what needs to be done as far as the inquiry investigation is concerned. But also one of the issues we had to, as a way of speeding up but also being efficient in doing our work, was to also consider a physical interaction so that we don't have technical challenges with regards to technology. So that is how far we say we have to commit in the process. We will try our level best to do it as fast but also efficient as possible. Mm-hmm. Those are the two issues, the guides that will take us into the process and ensure that it is finished. So we have to consider time, but at the same time we have to consider efficiency in conducting the work.
Sahlulele Luzipo, he is the chair of Parliament's Minerals and Energy Portfolio Committee. Thanks very much for your time this morning. The Karpowerships deal, a probe into that deal, is now in the works at least.